Good evening. I feel a little emotional listening to Binyavanga. He never says nice things to me. But it's lovely to be here, and it's really lovely to be sharing a stage with a man who happens to be one of my best friends and who also is not only an incredibly talented writer, but a very generous person. I am happy to be in Santa Fe. I wish I had the chance to see a bit more of Santa Fe, but it's very nice to see you, who represent Santa Fe. I'm going to read from a story called The Shivering, from my story collection, The Thing Around Your Neck. And just a bit of background from where the story came from, because for me, in reading stories, I'm always interested in the story behind the story. When I did a fellowship at Princeton some years ago, and I lived in an apartment there, and my brother had come to stay while I was away for a weekend. And during that weekend, there was a plane crash in Nigeria, and the Nigerian First Lady also died, separate incidents. And my brother says that somebody knocked on the door of the apartment. And he opened the door, and it was a man who was Nigerian who said to him, "I am a Nigerian, I've come so that we can pray." And my brother let him in, and they prayed. And when he told me the story, I remember just wondering what I would have done. Whether I would have let this strange man, whether or not he was Nigerian, come into the apartment to pray. And so this is where the genesis of the story, and from that, this story called The Shivering kind of emerged. On the day a plane crashed in Nigeria, the same day the Nigerian First Lady died, somebody knocked loudly on Ukamaka's door in Princeton. The knock surprised her because nobody ever came to her door unannounced. This, after all, was America, where people called before they visited, except for the FedEx man who never knocked that loudly. And it made her jumpy because since morning she had been on the internet reading Nigerian news, refreshing pages too often, calling her parents and her friends in Nigeria, making cup after cup of Earl Grey that she allowed to get cold. She had minimized early pictures from the crash site. Each time she looked at them, she brightened her laptop screen, peering at what the news articles called wreckage. A blackened hulk with whitish bits scattered all about it like torn paper. An indifferent lump of char that had once been a plane filled with people. People who buckled their seatbelts and prayed. People who unfolded newspapers. People who waited for the flight attendant to roll down a cart and ask, "Sandwich or cake?" One of those people might have been her ex-boyfriend, Udenna. The knock sounded again, louder. She looked through the peephole. A pudgy, dark-skinned man who looked vaguely familiar, though she could not remember where she had seen him before. Perhaps it was at the library or on the shuttle to the Princeton campus.
So, now, what's this love thing you're writing about now? Because you told me you were writing a love story, and I know I'm not supposed to know what you're writing about. But what's love now? Why are you so thinking about love?
I hope this, I just want to start by saying it's very strange to be sitting on stage with him because, I know everything about him. I'm thinking I don't know what the heck we're going to talk about in front of people. But, well-being, I think that love is very important in life. No, look, you say that, well, how come you write about love? And you do. I think almost all of literature is about love. And sometimes I get very upset when people talk about my work and talk about, the political importance and I'm thinking, but it's really about love, right? At the end, it's just really love. It's love. I love love.
And so now, so the story you said happened while you were you are having residency in Princeton.
Yeah.
And that twist now, that one is the one that got me.
What?
At the end, because I thought you was in love with her.
Well.
I was like, he was just about to. I thought you were going to say, she's the asshole. Am I the only one? No. Okay, okay.
Oh, I see what you mean when he says, well, actually, I know what it's like to love an asshole, and it's you, right? Well, that wouldn't be very, that wouldn't be a very...
Like, go quiet. And he's like...
No. And, for me, what I remember somebody in Lagos saying to me that they had talked about the book in a book club or something, and then he said, and this, this is Nigeria, where people have interesting ideas about what it is to be gay. Actually, as they do all over the world, not just Nigeria. But this guy said to me, the thing that some people did not like? By the time we knew he was gay, we already liked him. So at that point, they couldn't take back their affection. And I remember thinking, well, that is the point.
Yeah. Actually, there's very little of it in African writing at all. I know Charles Ngozi had a story about...
Really?
About this woman who finds out that the benefactor and her husband's best friend from before they are married, that they were lovers. And they'd been lovers right through. And so the whole thing was, do I stay, do I leave? And he's paid the school fees for the kids. He's the family friend, he's her friend.
So what happened? Did she...
So we're left hanging. But all her friends were like, are you mad? Stay.
But I think what's happening now, though, is that increasingly it's more present. I mean, it's not that... So now in Nollywood, for example, Nollywood being Nigeria's fantastic film industry, which you should all please...
Yes.
Now in Nollywood, increasingly, there's people... So the characters who are gay, and I mean, I have problems with the way that they're portrayed, right? So it's always, it's either that, or it's, the woman has a girlfriend, but then she says, I had no choice, there were no men, that kind of thing.
You mean there's been a lesbian in
Nollywood? Oh yeah, actually a lot more.
I generally don't agree that Nigerians are ahead of Kenyans, but okay, that's...